Alright, we're setting up an aim constraint. First thing, grab your gun. And then you want the handle on 0, 0. So where you're going to pivot off of should be 0, 0. So you see how it's perfectly lined up in the center? There, that's done. Now we have our pivot point. We want to click Shift and C. That'll center our cursor to 0, 0. We come up to here while hovering over both, so drag and highlight both. Go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor. Now they're all centered here, so it'll pivot off of it. Now the second thing, imagine this green line right here as your aim constraint line. So if something is here and you grab here, this is where you would grab. And it would be off-centered to here. You see how it has that space? You want it so where you're going to grab will be touching that line. Something like that. So say it has a grip right here. You want that grip just to be in the middle of that line. If that makes sense. But for right now, we don't have anything, so we'll align that line just like that. So now we will grab right there. Okay, once that's like that and everything's fine, we can go over to this, export, FBX, and then place it wherever you want. Very important, come to here, do not mess with transform. Go down to armature, click off, add leaf bones, and off bake animation, then click export. Okay, now it's time to come to Unity. We have the gun. The biggest important thing is, say you have your model, the gun needs to be facing the same way your face is facing. So, in other words, all models have to be facing Z. So, for something like this, the gun is facing forward, he is facing forward. That means you have set the gun up properly. What you then want to do is go to this object, and this is where you would want to place the aim constraint as PKM armature, and then you'd have the two objects. From here, you'd create an empty. You would name this, whatever your object is, in my case, PKM parent. You reset this transform. You come to the PKM, and you reset that transform. You have the PKM under, and now we have a PKM parent. You add a parent constraint, which you can reference to my other video on how to set up. And then now, the most important thing, the aim constraint. You add another one. This would either be in your left hand or whatever you want it to parent to. You name this aim target or whatever you feel like. Then you have it set up in front. You come to here, add component, aim constraint. And before you do anything, before you add anything, you click activate. You come down here and you turn off Z. Now you can click add and then add your aim target. And just like that, there's your aim constraint. Now, what happens a lot and what I see people complaining about is what ends up happening is as follows. It'll look something like that. And people always complain, wait, how do I do this? How do I do that? And a lot of people think just to zero it, but then it creates this problem. And most of the time, that doesn't work. Most of the time, it might not work properly or something like that. So, say it's like to the floor, it's not working, it's locked and active, and it's not where you want it. What you would want to do is turn off the aim constraint, turn off lock, and then come to rotation offsets and zero all these values out, lock it again, and then turn back on the aim constraint, and that will fix it back to its original form. And that's how you do aim constraints.